So let's move forward. So one thing that is going to stop us in our tracks before we even get out of the house is, am I even good? Am I even a good actor? Am I even a good photographer? Am I even a good, you know, whatever is your field, dancer or whatever? And then there is a spectrum. In dance there is Michael Jackson and, I don't know, Justin Bieber at the this end of the spectrum. And then there are some people who haven't even ever danced professionally at this end, and then you are somewhere in this spectrum, somewhere in the middle, right? So we are so used to comparison and hierarchy of who is better and who is worse, and we do a stack in this order that self-doubt can come in and stop us in our tracks. Hey, you're not even good enough. See, that client didn't hire you. You're not good, right? So, what does good even mean? What does that mean? Hmm? And what can we do, right? Because rejection really hits us in our guts. So, every time we go to someone and say, hey, can I do photography for your wedding? And then they hire someone else, then we go into a crisis mode. And we're like, oh man, what's happening? Do you think the Starbucks employees go into crisis mode if someone walks into a Starbucks, looks around, decides that they are not going to buy and walk out? No. For them, it's business as usual. For them, this is professional. But for freelancers, a lot of emotions come into it. All right, so let me come to now action steps. Let me come and talk about what you can do tangibly as a freelancer that can help you, like, not. So let's see, like, if you are here on 30th June, in 3 months you should not be here, right? So what can you do daily, weekly, I don't know, whatever works for you, but so that in 100 days you are in a different space. All right, so first thing I'll talk about is skill, right? Is skill practicing. So the more you practice, the better you will get. That's 95% of skill. 5% is okay, I read this book, I did this course, I did an internship here, but 95% is practice, 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 practice. And the more the practice, the more the compounding, the more frequency, the better you get at it. Better you get at it. It becomes internalized, it becomes a habit, it becomes, you know, something you can do, right? So, how do you practice for building the skill? So if you're a photographer and you say, I click photography of furniture, click more photography of furniture. If you say, I click photography of animals, then click photography of animals. Don't say that only if I find an exquisite animal, I'll click a photo. Don't say only if I find an exquisite furniture, I'll click a photo. Then the compounding won't happen because you're waiting. But skill, the more you practice, you get ahead, right? So skill. So you can create those conditions and you can make it easy. You can make it easy. Like if you want to practice the skill of public speaking, for instance, you can just make it easy. Okay, I'll turn on the camera, I'll turn on the mic, and I'll start speaking. Or this is my process. The process has to be easy for it to be repeated. If it's a hectic process, if for a 5-minute recording you're going to take 6 hours to do that recording, then you can't practice the skill. It's too much. And if you keep doing that daily, then you don't have time to do anything else. Does it make sense? So practice skill, right? So if you say, I don't know if I'm a good enough singer, sing, record, sing, record, sing, record, sing, record. Listen, sing, record, listen, sing, record, listen, sing, record, listen, share, sing, record, listen, share, sing, record, listen, share. You know, keep going through keep turning it, keep turning it, keep turning it. Yeah. And then the process will take care. So one is skill, right? Second, I think, is creating value. So before I go to creating value, let's talk about who am I trying to serve, right? Who is your audience? So one way resistance or self-doubt or self-sabotage really keeps us, you know, keeps us stuck is saying my work is for everyone. I am a yoga teacher. Everyone needs yoga. So my audience is everyone. The moment you ask is you are in New York, is someone in California your audience who wants to do a physical class? Oh, no, they are not my audience. Okay. You are doing an intense yoga class is someone who is, 73 and has knee pain. Are there? Oh, they are also not my audience. And suddenly you start saying, oh, no, 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 no. And then you come back and you see, oh, these 30 people are my audience. These 300 people are my audience. These 3,000 people are my audience. Right? It's not even in virtual. Like if you get, if you are not specific enough, if you are not focused enough, it will be too generic to work. Right? It won't satisfy anyone, including you. All right. So, audience again. So, once you understand that audience needs to be specific and focused, that this small set of audience is what I need, then we get stuck in the perfectionism of finding the perfect audience in our head, right? Oh, is this my audience? Oh, that is that my audience? Oh, do, 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 do. This person can pay more, this person can do this person can do that. And we get into this, thinking loop, trying to find my audience. And you can spend, hours, days, weeks, months, years, decades trying to find your audience, trying to figure out your audience inside your own head. You can keep talking to people, it won't matter. So, how do you find your audience? What do you do? Iterate, test, create value for audience one, create value for audience two, create value for audience three, create value for audience four. You know, so let's say you want to see if, as a mm, writer, right, who is your audience? So you might say, oh, maybe kids, right? Okay, create a short story for a kid, for 5-year-old kids. Oh no, like 70-year-old ladies. Okay, write something for them, you know. Um, no, entrepreneurs. Okay, write an article that can help entrepreneurs. So when you do this, there will be two, three things that will happening because you're investing time, like 8 hours to write an article, or I don't know, depending on how much time you want to invest. But you are actually going there and you're like, okay, I want to write for a 5-year-old kid. I'm trying to empathize with a 5-year-old kid. Do I know 5-year-old kids? Am I able to empathize with them? Do I want to empathize with them? Do I want to do this? So you will get whether it is you, one. And second, when you create that value and share it with someone who is 5-year-old or something, you will see whether it's starting to work or not. And this entire iteration will tell you if this is what you want to do more of, or if this is something like you thought might be an interesting idea, interesting audience, but it is not. So, over, let's say, if you uh, experiment with these audiences again, iteration is coming. So, if you start experimenting with these audiences, you will see, oh, these are the audiences I'm like inclining towards, and these are the audiences I'm just like, oh, this makes sense, but I don't really like doing this work, right? And you will also get feedback in terms of, is your work resonating with the audience? So that's the audience part. So skill, audience, skill, practice, 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 audience, iteration, iteration, iteration. You will get to see whether you want to serve that audience. You get to see whether that audience wants to get served by you. And the more you do it, the more you will be able to refine it. So in 100 days, there are 12 weeks. You can test 12 audiences, or you can test the same audience 12 times if you're doing a test a week. So audience. So if your skill gets better, your audience gets more specific, then you start zoning in into that audience and you start creating value for that audience. Not a value just in terms of, okay, if someone hires me to do photography at their wedding, I will create value by doing great photography. There's a huge competitive space. That's very difficult to win. But if you say, when people get married, they are looking for a photographer, but they are not sure how to find a photographer. Can I record a video? Can I write an article on what a person who's looking for a photographer should look for? Can I arrange a meetup of photographers in this area, in this block, and also bring in the people who are getting married in the next 3 to 6 months, and can I just bring them together, and the photographers can display their this thing, and but by leading that, you're coming at the center of it all, you know so you're getting a sense of, like, this is none of this is easy. Practicing on your skill when no one is looking, and you're getting to see that you're not as good as have you thought you were, or you're not as good as you want to be, and you keep practicing. That's difficult. Testing audiences, creating value, shipping it to them, creating value, shipping it to them, without the guarantee that this will lead to money, is not going to be easy, right? And then the third part, where you're becoming the leader, you're not being selected as the leader. There's no election or selection. You are saying, hey, I am the leader. I am going to create these conditions where these potential clients can find photographers, and you're inviting your competition, and you're saying, hey, these are the different options, and this is where I stand. So if you want someone who does this and this is where I'm stand, but there are other options as well. So these things create abundance. These things help you engage with possibility. You will start finding clients you would have never thought you could find. You will start finding peers. You would start finding mentors, coaches, because you are doing this. So skill practice, audience focus, leadership. you know so if you keep doing this, if you keep doing this over and over again, initially it would suck. It would suck. It would feel like, why am I even doing that? Why can't I just distract myself by that busy work, or that my current project needs, and all that? Because that's safe. No rejection, no change, no fear, no self-doubt. But if you want to be a freelancer, we have very little choice. you know One thing that might be coming in your mind is, what about Upwork? What about Fiverr? What about this, that? I can just go and create a portfolio there, and there's no compounding there. You find a client, you serve the client, you get the money. There's no job security, so you're not a job person. There's no recurring revenue, there's no guarantee. But if you do excellent work for this client, you're not getting the other client as well. So you're just doing the work again and again. Upwork is making a lot of money. For them, there is a lot of compounding, but for you, not that much, if that makes sense, right? Your ratings might improve, you might get slightly better rate, but your reputation in your smallest viable audience is not growing if clients find you on Upwork. Right, if clients search for you, you won't find Upwork for speakers, and you'll search Seth Godin or Tim Ferriss there, and you're like, oh, I can hire. No, you will need to go through their method and reach there. So yes, for the short term it might be a good thing. Oh, this is giving me enough income, but that is a job without the benefits of a job, if that makes sense, right? So job, there's hardly any compounding. Every month you do the work, every month you're paid salary, every month you do the work, every month you paid salary. The moment you leave the job, you get 2 lines on your CV, and then you're done. You can't say, hey, I worked on this product. Now this product is generating $1 billion of revenue. I should get $100,000. Doesn't work like that. Make sense? So as a freelancer, we are in charge of our skill, and we get better by practice. We are in charge of selecting the audience, of empathizing with audience, of creating the conditions for the potential audience to hire us. And then we are in charge of, not waiting, but actually leading and saying, oh, these kind of clients would have this kind of problem, not the problem of getting someone to click photos, click a cam, like the click photos at the wedding, but the problem of how do I choose a photographer? Because I am only going to get my wedding photos once. There's no do it again. Does it make sense? So that's where let's stop today here. Just thinking if there's okay, we'll talk about pricing and products maybe tomorrow. But yeah, this is a space I'm starting to teach.